Hello, good afternoon. It's midday and welcome to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. The news is live from our studio here in Accra. I am Inu Safo. Coming up, business as usual, burials ongoing at Osu Cemetery despite assembly suspension order.
The government have to take action about this cemetery because can't care my way. I'm telling me, Mama for mommy. See where they have directed me to. We don't have enough space. When I came here, I wanted to visit my father. Actually.
Also coming up, Tiptoe Lane traders cry for financial assistance to rebuild 3 weeks after major fire outbreak. Still ahead, Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly extends Babayara eviction deadline for businesses to April 6 after appeal from chiefs.
So it's been extended to 6th of April and 2026 that voluntarily they take the items off there by themselves, by which they will not be able to extend the time again.
And later, gone but not forgotten, Christian Achu remembered 3 years after Turkey earthquake tragedy. The bulletin is also live across our partner stations. If you're in the Upper West region, you're listening to us on Tupani Radio, 88.5 in Nadoli, Jirapa 96.1 FM. In the Upper East region, we're on Rekas 92.1 FM in Bongo Namo, Mike 105.3 FM in Navrongo. If you're in Bolga, 102.7 FM in Bolga Tanga. In the Northern region, North Star Radio 92.1 in Tamale. In the Northeast region, we're on Nobia 98.1 FM in Nalerugu. Across the globe, we're live on citinewsroom.com.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Many thanks for joining us. Let's settle for the details of our stories. Burial activities are continuing at the Osu Cemetery barely 24 hours after the Korle Klote Municipal Assembly announced a suspension. The directive followed reports of illegal exhumations and the sale of burial plots. Assembly member for the Osu Kinakwe electoral area, George Annan, told Citi News that the ongoing burials involve families who obtained valid permits prior to the suspension. But before we hear from him, though, let's speak to my colleague Rachel Engman, who was at the Osu Cemetery and has joined me in studio to paint a picture for the situation there for us. Rachel, thanks for joining us. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. Good to have you. Paint a picture for us of what exactly is happening at the Osu Cemetery right now.
Okay, as you already know, usually on Fridays, most cemeteries are like, let's say, busy days or business days for many people, especially at the Osu Cemetery. So I was there today, and then there were ongoing burial activities there, despite the ban on, or should I say the suspension on burial activities. Right. There were families there clad in black, some in white, there to depart peacefully with their loved ones.
How many families could you count?
There were quite a number.
Okay. And were there any municipal officials at the cemetery, and what was the explanation for these burials despite the fact that there was a suspension on burials?
Okay, so I met the assembly member for the Osu Kinkanwe electoral area, his Daniel Annan, and then he explained that these families already obtained burial permits. So that is why the activities were ongoing today.
Okay, so
but aside today, any other person or family that comes for a permit would not be given.
Okay, so let's hear from George Annan, the assembly member that you spoke to.
The assembly gave a directive yesterday from our communique that we suspend burials for the next 2 months. But there was another the same write-up that says that the burials that are going to be allowed within this span of 2 months are all those who have already taken their permits. Assembly has issued them their burial permits. You can do your burials. All the suspension gives to others who are now coming in for their permits. The assembly is not doing that. So the 2 months for those of them who have already taken their permits, they've done their grave space, they've done every process that will allow their loved ones to be buried. That one you are allowed to bury the next 2 months. Then after the 2 months, the assembly will do a forensic auditing in the cemetery pertaining the communique that was issued against us about some illegal activities happening in the cemetery.
That was the Assembly member for the Osu-Kinkanwe electoral area, George Annan. Rachel is still in studio with me. Rachel, tell me, did you speak to any of the families who were burying their dead?
Yes, I did. I spoke to a bereaved person. She's Akua Lote, and then she's appealing to authorities to take urgent action at the cemetery, claiming her father's remains were exhumed, and that the family has been unable to locate his burial site.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's hear that lady that you spoke to.
The government have to take action about this cemetery. I'm from Osu. I was born here. Look at me. You're telling me, Mama for mommy. See where they have directed me to. We don't have enough space. When I came here, I wanted to visit my father. Achale, Acham Papa. So what are the Osu two people doing and the government? What are the chiefs doing here? We are suffering. They should try and give those people here a better job. So that what they are doing, they won't do it.
Aku Alote is a bereaved resident calling on authorities to take urgent action at the Osu Cemetery following the exhumation of her father's remains. Away from that, President John Dramani Mahama says Ghana is on track to exit the International Monetary Fund program by April 2026 following improvements in key economic indicators. Speaking at the Ghana-Zambia Business Dialogue in Lusaka, he said inflation has eased, foreign reserves have improved, and investor confidence is returning after recent fiscal reforms. President Mahama noted that the stabilizing economy positions Ghana to expand trade and investment, particularly under the African Continental Free Trade Area.
Through decisive reforms, fiscal discipline, and bold policy choices, Ghana has stabilized its economy and restored confidence. Inflation has declined markedly, international reserves have improved, and our credit ratings have been upgraded, signaling renewed global confidence in Ghana's economic management. The Ghana Citi, our currency, has stabilized and investor sentiments have rebounded, as reflected in rising foreign direct investment inflows. We're on track to successfully conclude our IMF program by April 2026, demonstrating our firm commitment to fiscal sustainability, structural reform, and long-term economic transformation. These gains provide a solid foundation for Ghana's development agenda.
President John Dramani Mahama says there is a deliberate effort to promote the local textile industry. This follows public discussion over his decision to wear a smock during his recent state visit to Zambia. Speaking to journalists, the president defended his choice of attire, explaining that the move is aimed at highlighting locally produced fabrics and encouraging patronage of made-in-Ghana clothing.
I'm going to put it in my office and label it as a gift from President Chilema. And then I gave him a fugu. So what I wore, I gave him one of that. And so he said he's going to order some more and then distribute it to his Zambian countrymen. But one to promote the local garments industry. And so all my clothes are made in Ghana. They are sewn by Ghanaian designers. Yeah, so all these safari suits and things I wear are sewn by local designers. And that's what I wear every day, you know, to work, to official functions. And the thing is, I told President Chilema, I can understand that you wear suits because your part of the continent is colder. Our part is warmer than yours. And so we need to adapt to clothes that make us comfortable in the warmer weather.
You heard President John Dramani Mahama. Now, three unions, the Senior Staff Association of the University of Ghana, the Federation of University Senior Staff Association of Ghana, and TEU TUC have been on strike since Tuesday, February 3. The groups cite what they describe as a unilateral move by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to alter previously agreed conditions of service. They are protesting the replacement of overtime allowances with a call-in allowance, which they argue breaches an agreement signed in 2021 and undermines the rights and expectations of university staff. We're joined on the phone by the Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Dr. George Smith Graham, for more on this issue. Dr. Smith Graham, thank you so much for joining us on Citi Prime News.
You're welcome.
All right, Doctor, please. The unions say the replacement of overtime allowances with a call-in allowance violates the 2021 agreement. What informed this change, and was it communicated to all stakeholders?
Well, thank you very much, and let me say good afternoon to your listeners. First of all, I'm surprised they are making reference to a 2021 agreement. So far as I am concerned, there is no such agreement, because the single spine pay policy started in 2010. And in 2010, we had this conditions of service, a unified one, what we refer to as categories 2 and 3 allowances. In the categories 2 and 3 allowances, we have what we call overtime and we have calling. Overtime is only meant for the junior staff, and the senior staff receive calling allowance. So they cannot say we varied any conditions or said this has been there since 2010.
What steps are being taken now to address these concerns that have been raised?
Now, first of all, the matter is before the National Labour Commission. Labour Commission invited them, but they refused to go. They didn't go, I'm told, by my legal team. But we need to understand certain things. Overtime is not compulsory. Overtime is not compulsory. Overtime is when you've done your normal working hours, and somebody wants you to do, or your management wants you to do something extra beyond your normal working hours. Overtime is not compulsory. And therefore, I am surprised that they will say they are going on strike because they want to do overtime. You cannot force yourself to do overtime on any management. Assuming I'm here in Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, and my staff come and say they want to do overtime, and because they want to do overtime, they are going on strike. They cannot tell me they want to do overtime. Overtime has to be determined by somebody, a superior officer. And now, can you imagine that we are paying them to work for 8 hours a day? Now, these 8 hours that we are paying them to work, currently, they say they are on strike. And so they are on strike and they are not working for even the 8 hours that we are paying them. They want to take overtime. And overtime is not compulsory. I am surprised the university management has even allowed them to continue to be on this strike, because it is a management that is supposed to decide whether they can do overtime or they cannot even do overtime. And the policy does not even allow senior staff to do overtime. So this is a matter that I'm surprised that the university management is allowing to fester. But I believe the National Labour Commission will deal with these issues going forward.
Dr. Graham, the unions are also demanding the payment of salary arrears for staff of institutions recently upgraded to university status, as well as outstanding Tier 2 pension contributions. What is the Commission's position on these issues?
The two issues that you just mentioned have nothing to do with the Commission. If there are arrears to be paid, I'm sure Controller and Accountant General Department and Minister of Finance are working out the arrears, because anytime we conclude any negotiations, we agree on the payment of the arrears and the period for the arrears. So I believe that is within the Minister of Finance and Controller and Accountant General's department. On the pension payment, the pension arrears, that also does not fall within the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. And I believe that it is not unique to Senior Staff Association, because normally when the deductions are made, I believe it goes through certain processes before finally it is transferred to the various unions. So whatever they are going through will not be unique to them. But what specifically they are holding Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to is this overtime allowance and what they call 40 days of leave days. And the leave days in the public sector is determined by regulations. Public Service Commission HR manual says very clearly the number of days a junior staff can go on leave, a senior staff can go on leave, and everybody can go on leave. So the union cannot decide that they want to go on leave on a certain number of days. These things are not allowed, and I think that it is becoming one too many, taking all of us for granted. Because now the taxpayer is paying you to work for 8 hours, and you are refusing to work for that 8 hours, claiming you want to do more hours. And I don't think why that should be entertained.
Doc, so what's the way forward if they have been invited to meetings and they have not showed up? How do we resolve this issue?
The way forward is for, I believe, National Labour Commission to take the necessary steps to compel them to go to work. And I was not at the last National Labour Commission. The legal team went, but I'm sure Labour Commission will take the appropriate steps to compel them to go back to the classroom.
Dr. Smith Graham, thank you so much for speaking to us.
You're most welcome.
You heard me speak to Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Dr. George Smith Graham, on the strike by the 3 teacher unions. You're still listening to the Citi Prime News on 97.3 Citi FM. When we return, we will tell you about Christian Achu, who's being remembered 3 years after the Turkey earthquake tragedy. Do stay.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
My friends, I'm a very happy man. Let me share my testimony. I needed a home at a prime location, but I didn't have enough money. The little I had was too small to buy even a studio apartment, but a friend of mine introduced me to invest to own from Priority View Homes. I invested the little money I had for only 2 years. True to their word, at the maturity date, I qualified for a 2-bedroom luxury apartment at a prime location in Accra. Now look at me, living in my own home without the usual hassle. If you want a stress-free home to live in, I would advise you to sign up to their invest-to-own policy and say cheers to a new home. You may call Priority View Homes Limited on 055-588-2294, 055-588-2294, and you will never regret you did. Priority View Homes. There's no place like home.
We are gearing up for the trip of a lifetime. Heritage Caravan 2026. From 1st to 8th March 2026, 8 days, 14 regions, 1 legendary caravan. We're touring Ghana in the most spectacular way on the Heritage Caravan, exploring the beauty, history, and stories that make our nation unique. Rolling out from Greater Accra through Eastern and OT, up north to the Northern and Upper East, and all the way to the Western region, hitting iconic destinations across Ghana. The Heritage Caravan 2026 will be fun, educative, refreshing, and most of all, remarkable. Stay connected. Follow Channel 1 TV and 97.3 Citi FM across all social media platforms for updates and join the conversation using the hashtag Heritage Caravan 2026. The Heritage Caravan 2026 is powered by Channel 1 TV with support from Citi FM, and it's proudly sponsored by Hollard Insurance, Piva Beverages, Omni Basic Bank, Caveman Watches, Gino, and Didi Shito, and it's supported by Nanes Rice. Heritage Caravan 2026, experience Ghana like never before.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Let's do some more stories. But before then, do remember that if you're in the Western region, you're listening to us on Beach 105.5 FM and Sky 93.5 FM, both in Takoradi. In the Ashanti region, we're live on Focus 94.3 FM on the KNUST campus, Orange 107.9 FM, also in Kumasi. In the Volta region, we're on Stella Radio 97.1 FM in Dabala, Holy 98.5 FM in Aplo, and if you're in the Savannah region, you're listening to us on Kasha 99.5 FM in Damongo. 3 weeks After the fire outbreak at Tiptoe Lane in Circle, affected traders are still struggling to recover. During a follow-up visit, victims said they lost their shops and goods and are finding it difficult to restart their businesses. Although NADMO provided items such as rice, oil, maize and mattresses, they say the support is insufficient. The traders are appealing to government for urgent assistance to rebuild their businesses and livelihoods.
We are pleading with Ghanaians. This is where we work to take care of our children, but everything has been burned. We have nothing left. One of our sisters had an old canopy with torn material, and that is what we are using now. We are appealing to the government to intervene. I have 6 children to take care of. We want our land back so we can put up kiosks or containers and start working again. This is where we stay. I have lost my husband and I have 6 children who are in school. My fridges are all burnt. I lost everything in the fire. I have not received any support from the government. It feels like they have taken their eyes off us. Where should we go? My things were burnt, including my fridges. I sell eggs and sachet water. Our money was also burnt, and we have nothing to start work again. We have nowhere to sleep and nowhere to go. We are pleading with the government to help us put up containers so we can restart our businesses. This is the only place we have.
Those were some affected traders at Tiptoe Lane in Circle speaking to Citi News. Businesses operating around the Babayara Sports Stadium have been given until April 6 to vacate the area. The Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly extended the deadline after consultations with the Ashanti Regional Security Council. Speaking to Citi News, the Assembly's Public Relations Officer, Henrietta Fiakunedu Abuaje, says no further extensions will be granted.
Extension of demolition for the unauthorized structures at Babayara Sports Stadium has become possible having extended for them because of the RESEC direction. RESEC, that's Ashanti Regional Security Council, by a plea from Nana Mokombehene and Nana Dedeswa Bahene, and then also from the people there that they should be given sample time. And that directive cannot be overlooked by Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. And so it's been extended to 6th of April and 2026 that voluntarily they take the items off there by themselves, by which they will not be able to extend the time again for that. And so the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly has heeded to the directive of the RESEC so that the people on their own will take the items off without, we are not reaching a stand that the unauthorized structures should not be there.
Henrietta Fiakunedu Abuaje is the Public Relations Officer for the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly. Away from that, traders at the Denu Market in the Citi South Municipality of the Volta region are appealing to authorities to urgently enforce traffic regulations to prevent vehicles from loading and stopping along the streets. The traders say the situation is causing persistent congestion in the market area. A trader who spoke to Citi News said poor enforcement of traffic rules has led to heavy congestion on the streets and within the market space.
Use their parking lots and they prefer to block our view. I had to go to the police to make them use their parking lots and run shifts so that they give us also space to do our business. It looks like there's congestion, and so I'm obliged to do things like this to save my business.
How was it affecting your business previously?
They parked their buses in front from morning to evening. They wouldn't move. They would like to insult you at any time. They should use their parking lots and run shift. The managers will call them when it's their turn to load. They will go and then set the road free for us to use.
You heard a trader speaking about congestion at the Denu Market in the Citi South Municipality of the Volta region. Today, February 6, marks exactly 3 years since Ghana mourned the tragic passing of Black Stars forward Christian Achu, who lost his life in the devastating earthquake in Turkey. Ghana's senior national team, the Black Stars, together with clubs he represented during his career, paid solemn tributes to the late winger on X earlier today, honoring a player whose commitment, humility, and love for the country left a lasting legacy. Here's more from Gabby Affair of the City Sports Desk.
On February 5, 2023, Christian Atsu produced what would become the final kick of his professional career, scoring a dramatic stoppage time winner for Hatayspor in a home victory over Kasim Pasa. The goal, struck in the 7th minute of added time, came just a day before the devastating earthquakes in Turkey. On February 6, 2023, Atsu went missing in the immediate aftermath of the Turkey-Syria earthquake, with fears mounting that he was among those trapped beneath the rubble of Hatayspor's headquarters in Antakya. His death was later confirmed, plunging Ghana and the global football community into mourning. 3 years on, Atsu's legacy with both club and country continues to endure. Earlier on Monday morning, Ghana's senior national team, the Black Stars, paid a solemn tribute to the late winger in remembrance of his life and career. In a message shared on the team's official X handle, the Black Stars remembered Atsu as a player who wore the national colours with pride and represented Ghana with distinction both on and off the pitch. His former club, Hatayspor, also shared an emotional video in his honour, remembering Atsu alongside other Turkish officials who lost their lives in the earthquake. Newcastle United, another of Atsu's former clubs, equally paid tribute to the Ghanaian with a message on social media. Last year, Newcastle United held tributes for Atsu across Premier League fixtures played over the weekend, with a similar gesture expected again this season. Over the years, Atsu's former clubs have consistently honoured his memory as each anniversary passes. Throughout his career, Christian Atsu featured for several clubs, including Chelsea, Vitesse, Everton, Bournemouth, Malaga, Newcastle United, Al Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and Hatayspor in the Turkish Super League. On the international stage, Atsu enjoyed notable success with Ghana. He was named in the team of the tournament at the 2017 African Cup of Nations in Gabon, where the Black Stars finished 4th. He later featured at the 2019 AFCON in Egypt, which proved to be his final tournament appearance for the national team.
And that report was filed by City Sports' Gabby Affair. Let's move on now. The Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Anthony Kwesi Sarpong, says Ghana collects only about 40% of its value-added tax potential. He says the remaining 60% is lost to non-compliance and inefficiencies. Speaking at the GRA's 2026 Top Management Retreat in Sekondi Takoradi, Anthony Kwesi Sarpong said the authority aims to close the gap as it pursues a revenue target of 230 billion cedis.
Today, we have a challenge of about VAT gap of about 60%. That means the potential to collect VAT, we are only collecting 40% when you look at it from the reverse form. Similarly, for corporate income tax, our data shows a gap of not less than 80%, which means we are only collecting 20% of our potential. So there's a lot of work for us to do, and there's a lot of potential that we can also harness to achieve our target. Closing these gaps require efficiency, consistency, and commitment on a daily, on a weekly, and a monthly basis. Performance, therefore, will be about ensuring that every CD collected is anchored in a sound process, integrity, and fairness that is anchored on the trust we portray and exhibit to our taxpayers.
That was the Commissioner General of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Anthony Kwesi Sarpong. And that's how we end today's edition of the City Prime News. I am Enu Safo. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
City News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, City 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at City 973.